Now, natural numbers, the first thing that we are going to study is that natural numbers can be classified as even or odd. Now, we know that even numbers are all the multiples of 2, 2 and all the multiples of 2, right? And the rest of them are all odd numbers. So, even numbers can be expressed in the form 2 times n, where n can be any other natural number, and all the odd numbers can be expressed as 2n plus 1, right, where n is again any other natural number. Now, the interesting thing to know about natural numbers, the even and the odd numbers, is that sum of two even numbers is always going to be an even, right? Then the difference of two even numbers, so I'm just going to use E for even and O for odd, right? So the difference of two even numbers is always an even number. Likewise, if we multiply two even numbers, we are going to get an even number. In fact, this is going to be at least a multiple of 4. At least, right? It may be a multiple of higher power of 2, but it is going to be at least a multiple of 4 because this is 2n, this is 2m. So when we multiply, we have 4 times m into n, right? Likewise, division is a little tricky. Now, whenever an even number is divided by an even number, we could get another even number or an odd number. It depends on what the quotient is and what the divisor. In fact, they could not even completely divide each other, right? So this is a subjective thing. So we may get an even, we may get an odd, we may not get a natural number at all when we divide an even by even, right? So or a rational number. All right, now let's talk about odds. Now when an odd number is added to an odd number, we get an even number. That's because this is 2n plus 1, this is 2m plus 1, so 2n and 2m, that adds up to even, but 1 extra and 1 extra here, they both also add up to 2, so we get an even number. And similarly, an odd minus an odd still gives an even. Now an odd multiplied by an odd will always give us an odd number because there's no 2 here and there's no 2 here, so we'll always get an odd number here. And likewise, an odd number divided by an odd number will give us an odd number, provided this is a natural number, right? So there's a possibility that this could not be a rational number, but if it is, then it will always be an odd number. Now let's mix them up. Now when we add an odd and an even number, right, we will always get an odd number because this is 2n plus 1, this is 2m. When we add them, the sum is plus 1. The difference between an even and an odd will be odd, and an odd minus even, right? So both of these will always be odd. Then an even multiplied by an odd will always be even. That's because this is 2n, and anything multiplied by a 2n will give us an even number. And likewise, an even divided by an odd number, if at all it is a rational, it is a natural number, is going to be an even number. This is never going to be odd because you've only cancelled out the odd factors from this division. Then an odd number, and now let's talk about an even number to the power even number, right? So an even number to the power even number, does it matter how many times this even number is multiplied with itself? It doesn't, right? So it doesn't matter whether you have an even power or an odd power. An even number to any power will always be an even number, and similarly an odd number to any power, irrespective of how many times it's multiplied with itself, will always be an odd number.